Welcome everyone, this is Al Dackman Barry, and today I'm going to be talking about a couple of things. Now you can see that giant roll of bubble wrap, there's boxes all around me. I'm getting closer to moving. So AutoCAD. AutoCAD is a product that was released by Autodesk, and it was the only game in town when it came to drafting any kind of technical drawings. Initially it was 2D, then going into 3D. I've been working on AutoCAD for a long time. In fact, I wasn't even working, I was just playing on it because I was that kind of weird kid. Instead of playing computer games, I was drawing things on AutoCAD like this. Some of the drawings were two-dimensional, like those buses, but that plane was three-dimensional. So instead of talking about it and you watching my ugly mug, I'll just show you instead. Alright, this is AutoCAD 2017. I just installed this yesterday. I've been working with 15 for probably the longest of these newest releases. 16, I opened it once and that was it. It did not work after that. This was one of the things I did like about AutoCAD, this little nav wheel where I can zoom in. It'll rewind, orbit. Well, the orbit gets a while to get used to because you have to set a pivot point. Usually the zoom does that. Now I can move around that point as a pivot. And pan, just moving by. You have some cool other features here if you can see them. Walk, center, look, up, down, yada yada. This might not work. Oh, or it does. What you're seeing here is the American market version of a DAC 117 UD. There's still things like this, like these mirrors, that are floating around because this is still a work in progress. Back to the AutoCAD. Now, they have changed their business model from buying the standalone program to the subscription model. And right now, this is the educational version because I still teach every now and again, and I still need to keep up to date with AutoCAD. But it's getting to the point where sooner or later, AutoCAD is going to, well, I say AutoCAD, but I mean Autodesk, the parent company. Autodesk is going to lose market share because they're going to make this more and more impossible to work with between people that don't want to pay the money. Why should you pay $1,200 a year forever because you're using AutoCAD versus just buying the program? Even if it was $3 grand, $4 grand, $5 grand, after $5 grand, that's it. Not to mention that these drawings, they don't change. Now all the settings you see here that I got, this is the way AutoCAD used to look. And these are just my personal preferences because when it comes out of the box, so to speak, there's this massive ribbon that goes up to like here and eats up a 30-year screen. If you ask anybody that's worked with AutoCAD, the number one complaint is not enough screen space. That and changing. This is not a car that every model year has to come out with a new improved look. It's a tool. You don't have different hammers every single year. Now you can see the detail of this, all these little lines, everything that's going on. But this was mostly a, we'll call it an artistic rendering. It was mainly designed for prettiness. So you're probably looking at this, those of you that know these buses, and you're wondering, what is this model? Is that a 217E? Well, close. It's what I call the B317E. As you can see, it's got like all the dot matrix display, sealed headlights. It was supposed to be a modernized version for the U.S. market. It's got the U.S. wheels. And there's the fare box. Put in your money. Alright, we're inside. Now we're going to look over here. So this is inspired by the U.S. version, 1983 built DAC 117 UD. But clearly, this is more like a model, like a what if DAC or later on Rocar would have made an American spec bus later on in the 90s. You can see the stop request strips, the emergency window handles, but overall the bus is still more or less the same as the other one. Same seating, same handlebars. Now, let's walk again. Let's walk down the aisle. The doors are not installed. And this is the back. There's no window, and you'll see why. Let's turn around. Oh, that's the exit. Let's walk back up the aisle. I don't know what that green thing is. Probably some layer that should be turned off. Now, a lot of you might be asking me, oh, can I have this for a game? I don't really like sharing my work, so just keep that in mind. But even if I was inclined to share, I don't think that a DWG is compatible with the game formats. Not to mention the detail is way too much for a game. Knock knock. Who's there? What are you knocking on? There's no doors. Yeah, I know. I didn't get to finish them yet. But be patient. This is the back of the bus. The taillights might look a little bigger than the DAC version because they're RTS taillights. Little known fact, RTS taillights are the same dimensions as a sealed beam. I just wanted to show this as a, look, wouldn't it have been nice to have one of these here? But alas, they never made them, so they never made it here. Alright, so some of these are individual components that I have redone to mind-boggling detail. I'll show you the lighting dashboard. This will work. All these little lights and buttons and switches, all the different colors. Now, some of them never appeared in certain colors, like these thin ones. And here are all the little types of indicators. You get your high beams, low beams, low fuel light, fog lamps in case you had them, turn signals. But I don't know what the US say. I think that's USHA, which means door. But I've seen it, but I still have no clue what it means. Speedometer, tachometer. This is the, it's more like a combo gauge. that the newer ones had. They're actually made. I'm going to put up. I think it's VGO or something like that. That was the manufacturer. Icarus buses had the same ones, and well, the same speedometers. I think that's a VGO speedometer and so on. They were made in Hungary and installed in some of the generations. Later on, the Romanian version was like this, with the miles per hour as well. The Electro Precisio, we'll say it Romanian style. That was a manufacturer. And again, you have the Praga automatic transmission selector, and I also added the Voith style because there was a Voith option on some of the prototypes. Probably they didn't have this style, but that's going to be tough to find. Now, what I've been doing, basically, I restarted the entire project, and the purpose of it was to make it engineering correct, not just pretty pictures correct. So this is my virtual workshop. Complete suspension. That it was a license built from ZF. I think it was part of the MAN design, their initial one. But it is actually a fairly modern system. In fact, most commercial vehicles in the U.S. still have solid front ends, which have their advantages. Those are pretty tough and there's fewer moving parts. But for a bus where you want comfort and you want a certain level of handling, this was ahead of its time, really. And this is the kind of stuff that eventually is going to help me if I need to make a replacement part. Yeah, you just saw some of those dimensions. I have no idea where they're floating around, because when you draw something in 2D, you don't know where exactly it's going to pop up in the whole 3D picture. Like that. It's actually from the shop manual, from the owner's manual. Yeah, one of the drawings. So I was using that to kind of get a feel for it. What I wanted to show you was the body. Technically, it's just the skin of the bus, and it seems like 2017 still has problems with some of these renderings. Basically, what you saw there was the thickness of the sheet metal is the real world thickness. So it's getting confused as far as the inside layer and the outside layer. So one of the errors I made was the windshield. It is actually flat at the bottom. I thought it was curved, but it wasn't. Here we go again with that little error. Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the inside paint color will probably match the outside, just so this error doesn't occur anymore. When I drew the inside, this was based on drawings, so I'm going to have to double check with Olivia, the DAC bus I have here, and I'm probably going to have to redo it, so we'll see. Here are the windows, and maybe I can zoom in and show you the detail here. So you can see that these are actually, this is the way they are in real life. What is that? Hold on. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to have to look up who made this photo because I want to give them the credit, but obviously it was a fairly good isometric view. This is one of the ones in Brazil with the glued-on glass without the two-piece gasket that most of them came with. Alright, enough with this. It's already, I'm looking 35 minutes of recording. That's going to be a long time to edit, so I'll meet you back at the computer, outside of the computer. Alright, so I hope that wasn't too boring. for some of you. That's it for this week. It's snowing outside. Cats and elephants. I'm not going anywhere. Can't go anywhere. So I'm going to stick inside. Got some pumpkin pie right here. So stay warm. If you got to go outside, remember, if you're driving, make sure you got a blanket and some sort of winter stuff. Gloves, maybe even an extra pair of shoes.
I got stuck, and the tow truck is late, and I'm hungry, and I'm cold.
Hopefully that doesn't happen, and you're just sitting inside watching videos, which is probably what I would do. So this is Al, DAC Man Barry, wishing you a safe, warm ride. Because if you're gonna get blah. I know right now I'm still a little bit all over the place and trying to find my groove.